Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is God of Frost. The immortal of time. To be honest, with time. So, I have a special treat for you guys today. Um, be sure to check out, my peeps. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into this.
Baby, like reclining. In my neck, it got colorful diamonds. Too much money on me, I've been grinding. Too much speed in this beam, I be flying. Higher than an airplane, but no, I ain't no pilot. Rock aware, awareness, nigga need a stylist. See a bad bitch, pick on IG, I like it. You talk about resting, yes, I get excited. Free my brother, he got a case, he got a fight.
Alright, so as you guys can read the, title, it is basically 7 o'clock today. Alright. Um, this will be a special what if, because it's an influential what if. An influential what if, it to me is a what if that has like an effect on a certain character, and it'll change the story around a lot. But without further ado, this would be what if Deku had Domino. Now, Domino is an ability, and this ability allows one to manipulate the factors of their, karma, luck, all that in their favor. So, say for instance, was getting shot at. It's basically a cause and effect. So, no matter what happens, Deku will always come out on top. So, you know, Deku at a young age, he was always a lucky child. Um, you know, once he fell off the roof, but only sustaining minimal injuries, so people thought he had high endurance. He had endurance and healing quirks, stuff like that. Then came to the parts where Deku was, you know, running and he accidentally almost got hit by a car, but the car stopped immediately, swerving off the road and, flipped over. So people thought Deku had a force field type quirk because for some reason the car, it stopped moving. So Deku's mom took him to the doctor, and the doctor couldn't really explain what his quirk was. The doctor said, "Well, I don't know how to say this, but it seems like your son doesn't have any of the quirks that you got that you were thinking of. It seems he has a luck-based quirk, I believe. We this is our first time seeing a predicament such as this, and Deku wouldn't understand what the doctor is saying really, because yeah. Oh boy, I'm tired. So he wouldn't really understand what the doctor is saying. He'd take it like lightly, I believe. He wouldn't, you know. But Inko, she's surprised because not only is Deku, does not have these physical type quirks that, you know, that people think that he has, but he has something totally different that just would most likely protect her son. So she's happy, but when she tells Deku that he doesn't have a physical type quirk, he starts to get a little depressed and asks, "Well, can I still be like All Might?" And Deku, you can see a tear in Deku's eyes, but Inko smiles and says, "Well, yeah, you can be like All Might. It's not All Might's not All Might, the number one hero, because he's strong and he can fly. He's the number one hero because he knows how to save people. He's he's looked up to. So there's nothing saying that you can't be, you know, the number one hero with your ability. Deku starts to smile, and he goes to school the next day and tells Bakugo that he's got a quirk, but Deku says, "What is it? Can you show me?" Deku starts to get a little nervous because he doesn't know what Bakugo is gonna say. So he says, "Well, I can't really show you because it's not a physical quirk." Bakugo starts to laugh and says, "Okay, so what is it? A mutation quirk?" Deku says, "No, it's a lucky quirk. I call it domino." So Bakugo is like, "Well, what does it do?" And then Deku basically explains says exactly what his mom told him. He says that he has the ability to, manipulate luck. You know, like everything will always play out in his favor, even if he has to, and it depends on various factors about what's around him. So Bakugo starts to laugh, and Deku gets mad, you know, and all of a sudden, well, no, not all of a sudden. Um, Skip forward to 2 weeks later. This is about the time Bakugo found out his quirk. So Bakugo would be, you know, using his quirk, and he'd be bragging about it and everything, telling the class that, well, Deku, I mean, Deku's technically and basically quirkless. It's like he's quirkless. Everybody around Deku has a mutation type quirk or a physical type quirk, but Deku's the only one without a, physical type quirk. So he starts to get sad. And then Bakugo comes up to Deku and says, "Hey, loser, guess what? I got my quirk." And he starts to shoot explosions out of his hands. So after that, skip forward to a couple weeks. Bakugo's bullying. Well, Kid Bakugo is bullying some random kid, thinking that he needs to start practicing on how to take down villains. And that's when Deku sees this and he goes to rush over and stand up for the kid. That's when Bakugo says, "So what, loser? You're gonna take his place?" And Deku, he's a little scared. So Deku tells the kid to run, and so tired. Oh man. Deku tells the kid to run, and the kid runs off. Bakugo gets mad at this, and he goes to shoot an explosion at Deku, but then Deku trips. As Deku closes his eyes, he trips and falls to the ground, and the explosion completely missed. Deku stands up and wonders, "Wait, was that my quirk? Is that all it's able to do?" And then Bakugo goes to shoot another explosion at Deku because he's wondering, why did I miss? And then all of a sudden a car drives by, but the car swerves around the corner, and the rocks and rubble from underneath the car tire, as it's like drifting around the corner, is the tire sends a rock or a piece of rubber shooting towards Bakugo, and it smacks him in the back of the head. Bakugo's wondering, what is going on? And then he remembers what Deku told him his quirk was. He's starting to get madder at Deku, angrier than he already is. He goes to scream at Deku and says, "Hey!" He goes to say, "Hey, you loser, stop using your quirk on me." Deku says, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. Deku goes to say, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he begins, Bakugo begins to send off a flurry. I believe it's called a flurry. A flurry of explosions. He's missing each one. It's like something's either pulling or pushing his arm away from Deku. And he just can't get a steady aim. He gets tired and, he can't send off any more explosions because he's used his quirk up for the day. And, he says, don't worry, nerd, I'll get you next time. The two bullies that were next to Bakugo, they're astounded. This kid could make Bakugo miss, and they couldn't even touch Deku. It was weird. So skip forward to the beginning of the anime. Deku's taking notes and he's on his way to school. So, I think it's the last day of middle. Yeah, it's the last day of middle school. Whew. It's the last day of middle school, and it's the last day of middle school, and the teacher asks the class, "What do they want to be?" And before they can even say anything, the teacher just takes everybody's, papers and just throws them into the sky and says, "Of course, most of you are going to the UA entrance exam, right?" And they all start to cheer, and Bakugo starts to say, "Hey, don't loop me in with these losers." And he says, "Don't loop me in with these losers." I'm the only one who's most likely to get into UA, and nobody's gonna stop me. So Deku's domino effect has been, getting stronger every time he uses it, and he's used it a lot due to the fact that Bakugo always tries to use him as training practice. So now it's to the point where say, the X-Men domino, where she is. She can, she does something and then it affects something else. Not like where it happened on accident during the playground incident. So then the teacher says to the class, "Wait, there's one more person who wanted to go to UA. That's Midoriya. That's Midoriya, right? You wanted to go to UA." Deku says, "Yeah, I wanted to go to UA, but I don't know yet. Maybe not. You know what? No, I will go." The teacher starts to smile, but Bakugo says, "Huh." Sorry, guys. Bakugo starts to say, "Huh, this loser with his weak quirk, he can't get into UA." And, everybody's wondering, wait, out of everyone here, Bakugo can't lay a finger on Deku. So, at the end of class, Bakugo goes to Deku and he says, "Hey, loser, you really think you'll be able to get into UA?" Deku says, "Hey, listen, I have just enough shot at this as you do." Sorry for the stuttering. And then Bakugo gets mad, even madder. He picks up Deku's notebook and, basically puts it in his other hand and sets off an explosion, and then tosses it out the window. Just as Bakugo gets ready to walk out, he trips, falls, and breaks his pinky. So I just want to, add injury. Deku starts to laugh as he walks out, as Bakugo's just screaming on the floor saying, "Ah, my pinky, my pinky." The two people who were surrounding Bakugo as he did it, they were trying to console Bakugo, saying, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" So Deku decides to take. On his, whew, man. Deku goes to pick up his book from outside, and he sees it's still intact. Like, it's technically perfect. And then when Deku goes home, he goes to, you know, he decides to go to a different way. And, on his way home, he passes under a bridge. He sees the sewer drain open, and, but he also sees $20 on the ground. The sewer drain begins to rattle, and, out pops a sludge villain, and he immediately pounces for Deku. But Deku's reaching down to get the $20, and the sludge villain completely misses. Deku starts to look around because he felt the strange breeze of wind, and then just as that moment happens, All Might comes. The sludge villain is like, what? How? What? The sludge villain is constantly making grabs for Deku as All Might appears, and he's thinking, why can I not touch this kid? All Might arrived. Well, All Might Ben appeared. He's seeing what's going on, and he sees that the sludge villain can't touch this kid for some strange reason. All right. So what happened? Oh yeah. So Deku begins. The only person he sees is All Might. Then the okay. Then the um sludge villain makes one more pounce for Deku to use him as a hostage to escape. Uh, to escape, and then while Deku runs towards All Might, he accidentally kicks back a bottle, and the sludge villain accidentally, I'm using air quotations here, accidentally pops into the bottle, and a rock gets jammed into the lid of the bottle, so the sludge villain can no longer escape. All Might looks at the kid and wonders, how the hell did he just do that? He didn't even look back. So he asks Deku, What's your quirk?" And Deku says, "Oh, it's domino. My luck is like outrageous. I can influence, you know, anything to turn my way. So at the end of the day, I'm luckier than anybody else." All Might goes to pick up the bottle and says, "Wow, that's amazing, kid. Did you know that you did this?" Deku's just now noticing the bottle, and he's astounded. He's like, "I did that? No, that must have been you, All Might. Say, can I have your autograph?" He says as he takes out a new notebook. All Might says, "Of course. Well, I'll be going." But before that happens, Deku stops All Might and says, "Can I ask you a question?" All Might pauses and says, "Oh, sure, but you have to make it quick." Deku looks down and says, I was wondering, could I be a hero? Could I be the number one hero with a quirk like mine?" All Might thinks to himself, this kid wants to be the number one hero? That seems unlikely, but just maybe he could be the number two hero. He then goes to say, you know, "I don't think you can," but he gets stopped because his timer runs out. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And, you know, praise be to thou immortal. Haha.